You've probably seen them online, right? These really powerful prayers for a financial miracle. But have you ever stopped to wonder what's actually going on inside of them linguistically? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're going to deconstruct one of these prayers and trace its journey from the very real anxiety of lack all the way to this bold declaration of abundance. So that brings us to the big question. What does a prayer for a financial miracle really ask for? I mean, is it just a simple request for some cash, or is there something more complex, a kind of architecture at play here? Let's dive in and unpack the mechanics. Here's our roadmap. The prayer follows this really clear 5-part structure. It kicks off by tackling the emotional side of things. Then it gets into the specific asks. After that, it deals with what you already have. Then it takes on the roadblocks. And finally, it wraps up with this powerful declaration. So let's start right at the beginning. Okay, step 1 is all about laying the foundation. Before asking for a single thing, the prayer gets right to the heart of the matter, that core emotional problem so many of us face with money, just plain old fear and anxiety. Just look at the journey right here on this slide. The prayer doesn't ignore the reality of bills piling up or that sting of not having enough. No, it acknowledges the fear head on. And then it does this powerful pivot. It intentionally reframes the situation, replacing that fear with a focus on faith and provision. This isn't about denial. It's a strategic, foundational shift in mindset. And here's how that shift gets its power. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's anchored directly in Scripture. By quoting a verse like Philippians 4:19, the prayer transforms a hope into what's believed to be a divine promise. It gives the whole thing a solid layer of theological authority. So, once that foundation of faith is firmly in place, the prayer shifts from mindset to action. It moves into some very specific requests for actual resources and new opportunities. This is where the asking part really gets going. And notice how diverse these requests are. This is way more than just a plea for money. The prayer is actually quite strategic. It asks for multiple streams of provision. Sure, direct income, but also the right connections, the creative ideas, the job opportunities, all the things that actually lead to wealth. It's a surprisingly holistic financial plan. Now, this right here is a crucial point. This prayer isn't passive. It's asking for activation. It's not just give me wealth. It's give me the ability to produce wealth. You see the difference? This reframes the person praying from just a recipient into an active, divinely equipped partner in the process. And you guessed it, this idea is immediately backed by Scripture. Citing Deuteronomy 8:18 acts as the theological proof for asking for this ability. It basically suggests that creating wealth is a God-given gift that you absolutely can and should ask for. Okay, now the prayer shifts gears just a little bit. It's no longer just about bringing new things in. Now it's about taking what already exists, no matter how small it might seem, and asking for it to be multiplied until it overflows. And the mechanism for this multiplication is just fascinating. The prayer leans hard on verses like Luke 6:38. This verse directly ties the act of giving to the promise of getting back, this abundant overflowing return. So in this framework, being generous isn't a loss at all. It's the actual seed for your own financial growth. All right, so we've established faith, we've asked for new things, and we've prayed for what we have to grow. Now the prayer goes on the offensive. This next part is all about identifying and commanding the removal of any financial barriers or negative forces. And this list of obstacles is pretty comprehensive. It covers the tangible stuff, like debt and scams, but it also gets into more abstract concepts like generational curses or a spirit of poverty. These terms refer to the belief that there are spiritual or inherited patterns holding you back. The prayer basically aims to clear the path on every single front. I just love the imagery here. The prayer doesn't just ask for a little help with the debt. No, it paints debt as a mountain, and then, using its scriptural authority, it commands that mountain to be removed. That is an incredibly active and powerful stance to take against something that causes so much stress. And this is the theological firepower that lets the prayer break those spiritual obstacles. By referencing Galatians 3:13, the prayer makes the case that any curse of poverty has already been legally broken. So the person praying is simply claiming a freedom that they believe is already theirs by right. And all of this has been building to the prayer's climax. And here, you'll notice a huge shift in the language. We're moving from asking to declaring. The whole tone changes, from a petition to a powerful proclamation of a brand new financial reality. The prayer kicks off this final section with these incredibly bold declarations. It's all about identity. By declaring, "We are children of the King," it completely reframes your relationship to wealth. Lack is now positioned as this foreign thing that simply has no right to be there. And that redefinition of identity just keeps on going. This quote, which comes from Deuteronomy, is used to claim a position of leadership and victory, completely rejecting a life of struggle. It's a declaration of where you believe your rightful place is. And it all culminates in this final, all-encompassing statement. The prayer ends by declaring that favor and abundance aren't just one-time events you hope for. Nope, they are a constant state of being, your portion in every season. It's really the ultimate expression of faith-filled expectation. So after breaking all that down, we're left with this question. I mean, regardless of your personal spiritual beliefs, this prayer is a masterclass in using language to shift a mindset. From fear to faith, from passive asking to active declaring, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much does the language we use to talk about our own finances actually shape the outcome? That's definitely something to think about.